I'm going to plant out the rest of my potatoes. I take about a third soil, potting soil, which is going to be a combination of used soil from my prior crops, half, and half newer soil. My favorite is Fox Farm Happy Frog. That's going to be about 1/3 of the mix. Then another third is going to be compost, and my favorite on that is the Coast of Maine Quaddy Blend, compost blend with lobster and crab. And the place I got it from reports a lot of people, including me, saying that this compost really made a difference in their crops. So I've got about 1/3 of that. And then for the other third, a lot of times I'll take half coco coir and half peat, because someone had done an experiment and found that using coco coir versus peat versus half and half, they had better effects with the half and half. However, since potatoes like a more acidic blend, I am going to use more peat, which is acidic, than coco coir in this particular mix, since this is for potatoes. I've been using this 8-inch planter as a bucket for the different parts, and I've been using 2 for each third. So with that, I am going to be adding 4 handfuls of worm castings. My next go-to is for the fertilizer, the Fox Farm Happy Farm tomato and vegetable fertilizer with active soil microbes. OMRI registered means that it's officially been tested and approved for organic. Some things that are okay for organic are not tested and OMRI listed because it's an expensive process. So some things are okay for organic, but the companies just don't go through that expense. So I'm adding a bit of the fertilizer to the mix. Now, in the beginning, it's okay to have some of the 5-7-3 here. The 5 is the nitrogen. You got nitrogen, and that's good for the things like the leaves. You don't want too much of that in a potato bed, because then it'll focus more on the leaves than making the potatoes. But in the beginning, you want the greens so that they can later produce the potatoes. So that's okay for now. The next thing I add when I'm refreshing old soil is some kelp, which has some excellent nutrients from the ocean. It is a potato crop. I am going to be adding langbonite. When you have the NPK, you can see that the K is 22, which is basically potash. And that is the sulfur, magnesium, it has some chlorine, but mostly potash, and the potassium, which is the K, which is the potash, is especially good for root crops. And finally, I'm going to add some bone meal because it's potatoes, and that's higher in the P, which is the phosphate. It also has calcium and nitrogen, but this is also very good for potatoes. As bulbs, since it's very good for root development. Some people will apply it to the hole right under each seed potatoes. Others will spread it through the soil. They do recommend on the box spreading it through. However, I've seen others put them just right under the potato. In this particular bucket, I took a few of my larger Gold Rush potatoes, which is a russet kind, and I've already cut off chits so that there's only 2 remaining on each seed potato. I'm going to start out, since they like a spacing of 8 inches to a foot, I'm going to start out 4 inches from the edge. Place my potatoes chit side up about 4 to 6 inches down. There's one. For that one, and I've placed 3 more. I think I have some room in the middle. I'm not going to put another potato though, but I may put some companion plants that will help the potatoes. For today, I'm just going to water them in good so that I can go get more peat moss to do my other potatoes. Of course, don't forget to label your crop. This has 4 Gold Rush potatoes, and it was planted on March 1st.